Greetings guys, girls, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I hope that you are well and I hope that you are fighting because there's a lot to be fighting for. I have not said that in my intro for a long time. I love that it still comes instinctually. In today's video, I wanted to, well, I didn't really want to. I have decided to watch a Matt Walsh video. Because I hate myself, apparently. No, but when I was scrolling through my YouTube recommended on my second account, this video came up. So I thought I'd watch it. And I started watching it and was like, oh my god, this is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my entire life. I need to talk about this. So here I am, ready to talk about it. This video that he made is like 10 minutes of talking about Dylan Mulvaney and how she shouldn't carry tampons around because she doesn't have a vagina. So I wanted to talk about it. So let's give it a watch, shall we? Before we get into it, I would like to take a moment to say thank you to today's patron of the day, Lollipop98. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for your support for all of this time. I appreciate you. I hope that you enjoy this video. And if you would like to become a patron as well, then you can go to patreon.com/savvycat. I appreciate all of your support. All right, let's move into the fun video. That intro is hilarious. This is so dramatic.
There are many, shall we say, strange things about male TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney. Perhaps the weirdest aspect of Mulvaney's very profitable woman face charade is his obsession with tampons, products that those of us with a male anatomical structure have no use for. And Mulvaney has a male anatomical structure because he is, again, a male.
Dylan has never once ever denied her biology, ever. She knows the body that she has. She knows all of that. She's very open about that.
So backing up for a moment, in April, Mulvaney, who's still in the early days then of his days of girlhood shtick, recounted an alleged incident that sparked his resolve to always carry tampons.
Day 12 of being a girl, and I just picked up some tampons, and y'all are probably thinking, Dylan, where are you gonna put those? They're not for me. But this last weekend, I was in the restroom, and the girl in the stall next to me was like, hey, do you have a tampon? And I froze. I was like, sorry, no. But in that moment, I decided, you know what? I'm always gonna have one on hand for anyone who needs it. You come over to my house and we're having a glass of wine, I got a tampon for you. If we're in the club together and then we go to the bathroom, I got a tampon for you. Women supporting women. Love ya.
See, personally, myself, I think that that's a really lovely thing to do, and I greatly appreciate that. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Mr. Matt Walsh is going to have a problem with this for whatever reason. Let's find out what that reason is, shall we? Because I can't think of any, like, at all. But there's 10 minutes of this video, so it's got to be something.
Now, I confess that I have no personal firsthand knowledge of what goes on inside a woman's bathroom.
Okay, so then shut up. Great. Video over.
Because I'm a man, just like this guy. The only difference is that one of us respects a woman's right to privacy and the other one of us is Dylan Mulvaney.
You don't respect a woman's right to privacy, though, because you aren't respecting Dylan's right to have privacy. So.
All that to say, if I had to guess, I would suspect that a woman shouting to a stranger in the next stall asking for a tampon is not a normal occurrence. It reminds me of the Seinfeld scene where Elaine asks her stall neighbor for some toilet paper, something that I've never personally heard or seen anyone do in real life, ever. And if I were ever on the receiving end of such a request in a public bathroom, I would consider it a horrendous breach of public bathroom etiquette.
Well, that sounds like a you problem, my guy. Like, you started by saying you don't know what happens in a woman's bathroom. So already, you can sit down and be quiet. Two, like, it's not breaking bathroom etiquette. If you need a tampon, you need a tampon. There's not really anything you can do. Sometimes you're caught off guard. Like, sometimes you don't have one on you and you need one. What is your next train of thought, it's like, hey, excuse me, does anyone have one? Because chances are someone does, and it happens much more regularly than you may think it does.
But whether he made it up or not, the point is that he decided to always carry tampons around for any woman who might need it. He expected that women, his fellow women, as he considers them, would fall over themselves to thank and congratulate him for volunteering to be a tampon repository. But instead, actual women just found the whole thing very creepy and gross.
I highly doubt that. Have you seen how many followers Dylan has? I am going to go out on a limb here based off of my personal thoughts and experience and how much positive reaction and support Dylan gets, that this did not creep out a majority of women. And you're about to use some examples from some TERFs who just hate Dylan and trans people and don't see them as valid, such as yourself. Also, it bothers me how, like, many times he's misgendering her. Like, I know that's his whole thing and he doesn't believe in being trans or whatever, but like, my guy, it is one word. It's one word. It does not cause you any harm to just use the word that she prefers. It's like you just need to change one letter, actually. Add one letter. It's not difficult. It's a word. It's not gonna fucking kill you. You are causing harm by using the wrong word. Using the right word does literally no harm. Get over yourself.
He felt offended that women were not more appreciative of his acts of tampon charity, and that led to this video posted this week.
Day 271 of being a girl, or I'll say woman for this one, because this video is for the women on Twitter who just really don't like me. Hello, ladies. We got a lot to cover, but let's first talk tampons. I haven't talked about tampons on here lately because I don't use them. I'm a woman who doesn't have a uterus. I know this. And science was my strongest subject in high school. I was also shockingly good at math, but I digress. I just sometimes carry one in case anybody needs it. And that seems to have just set the world on fire in some pretty nasty ways. And this is a conversation that's been going on for months. I just haven't chimed in because I'm so tired of sticking up for myself over something that was so pure intentioned. But now Twitter is just ablaze. The bigger problem at hand is that you feel me carrying a tampon around is a threat to you and your womanhood. How is someone doing something nice so repulsive to you? Because listen to this, if a man, whether he was your boyfriend or your husband, could even be your gay best friend, kept a tampon for you at his house just in case you needed it, you'd gush over him. You would run to brunch on Sunday and tell all your gal pals that he's so thoughtful and he cares and he listens. And then a trans woman does it and all of a sudden I'm the reason that there's a tampon shortage. You know, it's not because I'm misogynistic, it's because you're transphobic. You know, we gotta work through this. And babe, caring for others, it's the bare minimum.
I just want to chime in real quick before he comes in and says his transphobic bullshit and say, you are absolutely right, Dylan. Absolutely. You're just doing a nice thing and people would appreciate it if the men in their lives did the same thing. You're absolutely correct. And people are transphobic and annoying because, like, it literally does no one any harm by you carrying around a tampon. If a trans woman has a tampon on them, it literally, like, it doesn't affect anyone except potentially making a positive impact on someone who forgot a tampon, which happens, again, way more often than Matt Walsh seems to think it does. I do it all the time. I have the marina and it, like, fucks up my cycle, and so I never know when it's coming. It just kind of is just, like, random all the time. Surprise! And, like, it's helpful to have someone who has tampons on them, you know? Sometimes you don't, sometimes your friend doesn't. Sometimes it's helpful.
Yeah, babe. You know, we all know that you ladies are running to your Sunday brunch in your fancy hats, gushing to your gal pals about how your boyfriend walks around in a fanny pack stuffed with tampons, just in case you have a menstrual emergency when he's around.
Yeah.
You notice how Mulvaney's vision of womanhood is almost entirely derived from Sex and the City episodes. This is one of the most glaring truths about transgenderism. The men who identify as women are not only not women, they also understand women far less than the average man who identifies as what he actually is.
That is absolutely incorrect. So incorrect. I'm really looking forward to your reasoning behind this, though, because you were so off base with this.
Like, this dude knows a lot less about women than I do.
I doubt it.
or like any normal man, especially a married man. So we're not women, but we've been around them. We're married to one, so we have some sort of insight.
You realize that, like, trans women are also around women a lot. A lot of them have predominantly women as friends. People have sisters and mothers and daughters and aunties and cousins. Most people have women in their lives. And trans women most certainly have women in their lives. Like, implying that she doesn't have, like, close women is so off base.
So I may not have women totally figured out, but I do know that, first of all, most of them aren't going to Sunday brunch in the first place.
Incorrect. I freaking love Sunday brunch, all right? I am a brunch bitch. I love brunch so much. Best meal of the day. Do I go to Sunday brunch with all my girlfriends every single Sunday? No, obviously not. She was using that as, like, an example. It's kind of like it's just a fun little thing that you say. It's like a go-to thing. Obviously, she wasn't implying that every woman goes to brunch every Sunday and that that's a common thing. It's just kind of a funny little, like, gag thing. It's just a thing that we say.
And if they do, they aren't talking about their boyfriends' and husbands' attitudes towards tampons. In fact, if I may be so presumptuous, I'm going to assume that almost every woman on the planet would be deeply creeped out if the men in their lives walked around with extra tampons on hand all the time.
That's absolutely incorrect. Where are you getting this information from? Okay, firstly, women absolutely talk to their friends about their male partners, friends, etc's attitudes towards, like, periods and stuff. If my partner carried around tampons for me, I absolutely would tell my friends. That is, like, the biggest green flag. I would gush about that. So would all of my friends. It's weird to, like, imply that women should be ashamed of their menstrual cycle and say that we shouldn't talk about it and that we never talk about it and that we'd find it weird and creepy if men ever, like, spoke about it or remembered it or were comfortable with the idea of us menstruating. Just say that you don't like talking about it and it makes you uncomfortable and grossed out and you don't want anything to do with it, and go, okay? I promise you that so many women have that as, like, a green flag, myself included. And I would go to brunch and I would gush about it. So speak for your freaking self, sir, okay? You don't speak for me.
And if I ever pulled a tampon out of my pocket and asked her if she needed it, she would look at me with a mixture of confusion and horror, and she would assume that I had gone completely insane.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to just randomly pull a tampon out. Like, do you need this? Like, that's not how this works. Unless you know she's, like, on her period. Like, you know that that's what's going on, right? Like, if you are out in public, like you're at the mall or you're out for brunch or whatever, and you know that your wife is, like, on her period at the moment and she gets up and she's like, I need to go to the bathroom, then you could pull out a tampon and be like, do you need a tampon? Like, then you can ask. That is totally appropriate, and that wouldn't get you a weird look. Or at least it shouldn't get you a weird look. Your wife might look at you weirdly because it's not something you've ever done before, and usually periods make you feel icky and you don't want to talk about it. So yeah, she might look at you weirdly. As just, like, a normal thing, I think that that's a totally normal, appropriate, and nice thing to do. And it would be helpful if you had them on you, because what if she just randomly got her period and she wasn't prepared for that? She left her handbag at home, something like that. If you had a tampon, you would be a lifesaver. You don't pull a tampon out. Like, do you need... That's not how that works. Wait till you're asked.
There would be no gushing to the gal pals about it. She might bring it up to a female friend, but it would be, like, in a hushed and concerned sort of tone. Like, he had tampons in his pocket. How concerned should I be about this?
Why would she be concerned? Why would anyone be concerned? Why would she be concerned? You're being so weird. You're being so weird about this. It's a tampon. Calm down.
And by the way, also, whatever happened to listening to women, right? Is that we're supposed to listen to women? So Dylan Mulvaney thinks that women should be appreciative of the tampon thing. He's admitting that the women are telling him, no, thanks, please stop doing this. This is weird. Just stop. You don't need to worry about the tampons. Let us figure that out. And rather than listening to the women who are telling him what they want, he says, well, you should want something else.
No, she is acknowledging that women on Twitter, specifically transphobes on Twitter, are being rude and awful and nasty. That is not a majority of women. That is a select few. Thus, she specifically said, this is to the women on Twitter who hate me. She's not talking about the thousands upon thousands of TikTok comments and the millions of people who like her content and who listen to her and who love her and support her. She is talking about a small amount of people. This is a message specifically to them. Don't cherry pick your information. You are specifically leaving out very important chunks of information and the amount of support versus backlash that she has for this issue.
Aside from the fact that he's trying to become a woman and yet has apparently never met one, it's also how condescending and patronizing and threatening he is to the very people he's trying to emulate.
Where? I've never seen Dylan be anything but like joyful and lovely and kind. She is just such a bright person who makes me smile like every time I see her. She is so lovely and such a light, and she seems so happy and so encouraging and just like genuinely inspires a lot of people, including cis women. She's just so lovely, and this is why she's garnered up such a large following, because of how approachable and kind and bright she is.
And though he cloaks his condescension and insults in a very thin veil of faux kindness, it all still comes through loud and clear, especially at the end. Listen to what he says at the end.
P.S. I am also very nervous for you just because hopefully soon transphobia won't be as tolerated online, but your tweets are forever and I don't want those to come back and haunt you. Okay? Bye.
He's nervous for you. He's trying to look out for you, ladies. He's just concerned that he might have to ruin your life over wrongthink.
She never said that she was going to come back and ruin people's lives. She never said that. She never threatened anything. She is just stating that hopefully transphobia will not be as tolerated online soon, and that things that you say on the internet are forever. And sometimes people who are looking to employ people look through people's social media. Sometimes things come back to bite you in the ass. She never said she was going to bring up anyone's tweets and use them as like blackmail or to get them fired or anything like that. She's just saying that's a potential that somebody could. And she doesn't want them to end up hurt. And even if she was saying that, I think it's totally valid. These women who are trying to like deny her of her personal freedom and just like want her to be miserable and take away her rights do deserve to have some sort of repercussion. It's not threatening, it's just defending yourself. You know, they're trying to ruin her life. Why are you like, she's gonna ruin your life, she's threatening to ruin your life? But they are trying to ruin her life. They're already doing that. Why are they allowed to do that? And she's not allowed to get upset about it.
Let him use your bathroom and locker rooms all he wants. Let him appropriate womanhood, turn it into some kind of bizarre Sex and the City parody. Let him degrade your femininity. Let him run around acting out his tampon fetish.
She's not mocking anyone. She's not making a mockery out of womanhood. She's not doing any of that. She's just living her life and being a girl and being a woman and learning what that's about. Like, obviously, a lot of what she knows about being a woman can come from the media, and that can be what her ideal version of being a woman is. And that's okay. And that's fun. And that's fine. Everyone is different. People do have friend groups like in Sex and the City and like in TV shows. Those things are based off of reality. There is a type of personality for everything and everyone. And if that's the type of girl that she wants to be, then she can do that. Don't try to stop her. She's not mocking anyone. There are cis women like that as well, and you're not calling them a mockery of women, are you? Let her do what she wants. Let her live her life. She isn't hurting anyone, okay? My camera died, and I don't remember exactly where I was. I think I was coming to an end. So I will quickly just say, Dylan is just doing a lovely thing and trying to be helpful to fellow women who may need a hand. Because, as you said earlier, Matt, you don't know what goes on in the women's bathroom. You have no idea how often that happens. And she didn't say exclusively for when women ask her in the bathroom. This was for her friends, her family members, etc. This is for anyone who may need a tampon at any point, so they have someone to ask. I am a very forgetful person, as I said, and I would probably be the person who used all of her tampons because I would never remember. So I would appreciate it hugely. And I promise you that most women are not grossed out by it or offended by it or anything like that, because it is just a nice, simple act that doesn't affect anyone. It literally does not matter. I'm sorry that you think periods are weird and you think tampons are strange and you shouldn't carry them around as a man or someone who doesn't have a uterus or whatever. Like, that's on you. If you think your wife would find it weird, that's on you. That's on your wife. Maybe you should get over the taboo-ness of periods because there's nothing weird or gross about them, and I think that more people should carry around pads and tampons, etc., because it is helpful and it does help sort of break the stigma that for some reason exists around them. So I think you need to reconsider here, and I think that we need to more normalize just having tampons. You never know who's going to need it and when, you know? Like, it's not difficult. It's not offending anyone. Dylan is so bright and cheery and kind and asks for advice and tries to share her journey and just wants to experience life that she hasn't been able to experience her whole life, you know? She's new to being a girl, new to being a woman. I say like new to it because obviously she's always been a woman. She's just new to expressing that and living that truthfully, you know? And there is no reason to try to stop her. She's not hurting anyone. She's not making a mockery of anyone. She is just trying to figure herself out, figure out where she fits in this world and just live her best life, you know? Like, get over it. That's all I have to say. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. A massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. And a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons. Wolf, Toulouse, Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Robbie, Ikazel, Jessica, Eldo, Ida, Queer Corey, Corey Go Lightly, Cosmic Octopus, Danielle, McKenna Anna, and Raven. I love and appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the top link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos a day early, as well as podcasts a week early. And then for £3 and up, you get bonus footage, outtakes, live streams, vlogs, etc. So yeah, join if you would like any or all of that. I appreciate it hugely. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, The Queer Kiwi, and Twitter, That Queer Kiwi. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.